Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to schedule the perfect practice routine for your instrument. I'm primarily directing this at guitar players or bass players, but this can apply to any instrument you may play. But yeah, I just wanted to shed some light onto beginners or intermediates at their instruments and showing that scheduling a proper practice routine can make all the difference and you can progress a lot quicker. Right, the first thing I want to go over is knowing your weaknesses. That's the first step to scheduling a practice routine, because if you don't know your weaknesses, you don't know what to work on. So maybe record yourself or get a friend who's a good musician to tell you what your weaknesses are and be honest with you. And then once you know your weaknesses, you can write them down on a piece of paper or whatever you want to do in order of priority. Say if one of your weaknesses is sweep picking, but you're a jazz player, you're not going to really have that as a priority. But if one of your weaknesses is music theory and you're a jazz player, then that's more important. So write these things down in order of priority. So it'll make the world of difference, because you can focus on what your weaknesses are and improve on them. Also work on your strengths. I can't stress that enough, because you can make your real musical DNA by working on your strengths, which is very important because you want to be noticed as a musician, to be unique. On how to practice, there's many ways to do this. The metronome is the best practicing tool in my opinion, because it can keep you in time, and timing is very important as a musician. You can also do this by, say for example, one of your weaknesses is ear training. You can learn songs off by ear by just purely listening to them, and then you can develop relative pitch, but if some of us aren't lucky enough to have perfect pitch, so you can learn these songs quicker, and then that means you can learn other songs quicker. And say for example, ear training, if I keep doing this, learning all these songs and stuff, then you're just going to become a better player in general. But it doesn't have to be ear training, obviously, it can be anything. So yeah, it's either the metronome, you can listen to music to get influence or learn things. There's so many ways of doing this. Playing with friends who are good musicians, it keeps you in check and everything. So one thing I always did growing up as a musician, and still developing now, but what I did in the first couple of years was noodling around on my instrument. I personally think noodling is great. You can develop your own musical voice, and you can pick up your own licks and your own style. But there's a point where noodling can only take you so far. You get stuck in potholes a lot. But the advantage of practicing is you don't come across these potholes very often, and if you do, you know how to get over them. But some of the best guitar players in the world are purely just noodlers. I'm not going to name any names because I don't know exactly, but you can kind of tell. So noodling, you can develop your own technique and everything, but the problem is you come across a lot more, you pick up a lot of bad habits, and they take a lot longer to fix than if you had just not gone over them in the first place. So I'm not going to pick a winner for practicing versus noodling, but all I'm saying is if you want to be more polished and do things quicker, practicing. But if you don't have the discipline, you want to just play your instrument and get better, but it might take longer, noodling's the thing for you. And to start with, noodling was the thing for me. So say for example, now I'm going to go over how to schedule your practice routine. Going back to the priority thing, say if ear training is your priority, you've got to spend more time on that than something that you just want, rather than something you need in your musical progression. So first decide how long you want to practice a day. For example, I practice about an hour a day at least, but some people might have the time to have 5 hours, 6 hours. You decide on that. So you want to get your priorities, and say ear training is the best thing. You want to spend an hour on that, and then if you want to learn sweep picking, you can do 15 minutes of that or half an hour of that. It really depends on like what you need. But yeah, you want to be scheduling your time properly, so you're not just wasting it. If you do want to practice over noodling, try not to fall back into noodling, because you'll be practicing something before you know it, you're noodling again. Try and avoid that as much as you possibly can, because that can be very bad for you and you can pick up even more bad habits. Another thing about practicing I would give advice on is don't lie to yourself. Did you really nail that lick then, or do you just want to think you nailed that lick because you can't be bothered to continue practicing with it? That's very crucial, very important. I think it's very important because if you kid yourself too much, you'll never really progress and you're just wasting your time. That's 6 hours of your day wasted, depending on how long you're going to practice, because you think you've got it right. Don't really increase the metronome speed, or don't run before you can walk just because you can't be bothered to start at the bottom. It really isn't healthy for your musical knowledge. Just to give some inspiration, I'm now going to show you some of my practice routines sped up, so I can show you how to schedule it and everything like that. Thank you. Right, so as you saw there, that was a very short snippet of my early practice routine. There should be a picture on the screen right now showing my schedule. It's not a massive schedule because there's the 3 things I'm going to work on at the moment. So the idea is my main priority was alternate picking, because I felt my technique is quite sloppy with alternate picking, which it is improving now because it's my main priority, so I'm practicing it the longest. Legato is not really a need for me because I don't really play music that requires that technique, but I still want to improve on it. Same with sweep picking. I never aim to be the next Malmsteen or, I don't know, Michelangelo Beatty or whatever his name is, sweep picking. So I just want to practice it, but it's not my main priority. So that's kind of the idea I'm trying to put across. I didn't want to put the whole practice routine in, obviously, because no one would ever watch it. I just thought I'd put bits of sped up footage in there from the whole hour. And yeah, I hope this is helpful. Just a first-hand story of how I used to noodle, and I'm now scheduling it, and now I'm seeing improvements a lot quicker. I hope this helped, and thank you for listening or watching. Thank you.